What is up, PG Nation? I'm Ben and welcome to my top 18 of the best offline games to play with a controller. The ranking is in no particular order, and as always, this is my own personal ranking and I'll be happy to hear your top games down below. Now, let's jump right in. Number 18. Rise of Demons. Rise of Demons is an FPS that draws heavily from games like Quake or the majestic Doom. So if you're a fan of the genre, you will feel right at home here. The gameplay is very simplistic as a run and shoot and pass as many levels as you can. Completing levels will reward you XP, skill points and energy cores. These are used to level up, increase your strength and upgrade weapons. You can also get new weapons after completing certain levels. There's a good variety of demons, from your standard swarm of zombies to some massive monsters that work as level bosses. The levels are well designed in 3D and there is a variety in maps like dungeons, snowy mountains and castles to name a few. Rise of Demons also features some roguelike elements and is a blast to play. Number 17. Sparklight. Sparklight is a Zelda-like game where you play as Ada, who must take down the evil Baron. You will come across endless ways to explore the randomly generated lands in search of Sparklight, the game's currency that you can use to upgrade your weapon and gear. As it's custom with roguelike games, every time you see the game over screen, you restart at the base where you can reverse engineer weapons, add patches for buffs, or get to know more of the villagers seeking your help. Sparklight features some gorgeous retro-inspired pixel art, an original soundtrack, cloud save and the much appreciated controller support. And there is a free demo to try out the game first if you like. Number 16. Way of Retribution: Legend of Abyss. Way of Retribution is an open world RPG that plays a lot like the Dark Souls games. You start by creating your character before heading into its deadly world. The combat is also similar to the Souls series, as in, you have to take your time and watch out for the enemy patterns, strike at the right time and defend or get out of the way when they're attacking. Visually speaking, the sequel to Way of Retribution looks good enough with some decent animation and textures. The soundtrack is also on point and it's not a very demanding game in terms of specs. But as in the Souls games, it's quite punishing and frustration will set in at times, even to the most patient players out there, so you've been warned. Number 15. Street Fighter 4 Championship Edition. Street Fighter 4 Championship Edition is definitely an underrated game on mobile. Yes, Capcom could have done a better job in the graphics department, but I think it still looks alright. There's a total of 32 fighters, including Ryu, Ken and Chun-Li, and all the fighters come with their special moves and combos, and while the touch controls are not perfect, they are optimized for mobile screens. And the game has full controller support and they offer a free demo with 1 playable and 3 AI characters. There's also a single player arcade mode, as well as multiplayer mode and 4 levels of difficulty to refine your skills. Honestly, this game deserves more love. Number 14. Bladed Fury. Bladed Fury is one of the latest Metroidvania games to hit the mobile market, and the game is a stylish 2D hack-and-slash platformer that plays in similar fashions to Muramasa, the Demon Blade on the Wii and PS Vita, but with a Chinese theme based around the country's history and mythology. Gameplay wise, it will take you just over 3 hours to beat the game, but expect a little over 6 hours of gameplay if you're a completionist. Bladed Fury combines stylish art with fast-paced combat, an excellent soundtrack, and a well-crafted story. Plus, for the price tag, this hidden gem is an absolute bargain. Number 13. Wall of Insanity. Dead Space is long gone from the Google Play Store, and for a while, there wasn't any alternative that was good enough, until Wall of Insanity. Wall of Insanity is developed by the same team behind the Slaughter series, and it's a third-person horror shooter that looks awesome and plays awesome too. The monsters are scary, the plot is odd but in a good way, and the game has limited rations and inventory, Resident Evil style. It's also worth mentioning that it's well optimized to run on mobile, and the game currently priced for $50. $50, people! Needless to say, Wall of Insanity should be an instant install. Number 12. Brawlhalla. There's no way around it, Brawlhalla is a Smash Bros clone, as the gameplay is pretty similar. The free-to-play platform brawler has a multiplayer mode and a shop for cosmetics, but it's also playable offline and is best played with a Bluetooth controller. But even if you don't have one, the touchscreen controls can be tweaked and adjusted to your preference. To sum up, Brawlhalla on mobile is a decent port, and if you were to venture into the multiplayer mode, you can easily play against your friends no matter their platform of choice, thanks to the game's cross-play support. Number 11. Morphit. Morphit draws a lot from the infamous No Man's Sky. This is a first-person adventure where you get to travel through a galaxy packed with thousands of randomly generated planets, each with its own plants and creatures to discover and hostilities to shoot. But unlike No Man's Sky, each planet you land on is a big large area rather than a massive planet, making the progression through the game much more manageable. And there is a story here that is very engaging and works very well with the game's mechanics, as you'll be scanning new plants and animals that you can later sell for money, which can be used to upgrade your gear and weapons. It's fun and satisfying, so no complaints here. Morphet is gorgeous and the soundtrack is great, definitely recommend it. Number 10. Graham Mountain Adventure. Graham Mountain Adventure is hands down the best winter sports game on Android. The game was originally meant as a test release, and over time the developers added a lot of new stuff, such as snowboarding, twin-tip skis, new mountains, a bunch of cool new tricks, controller support, and a leaderboard if you're looking to compare race times. Best of all, this is a free-to-play release that offers the first mountain for free, which makes it easy to decide if you like the game before you spend any money on the game. Rest assured, Graham Mountain Adventure is indeed worth the $5 price tag that unlocks the full game. Number 9. Grid Autosport. If you're looking for a console quality racer, look no further. Grid Autosport is it. The game landed on mobile a couple of years ago and has been my go-to choice when I feel like racing virtually on my phone. If you've yet to play Grid Autosport, it mixes many racing styles, ranging from dirt tracks to city streets, and of course, there are a ton of cars to choose from. Best of all, the game offers a 30-hour campaign, controller support, and exceptional graphics. So what's not to like? Also, I highly recommend Horizon Chase for retro racing fans, and check out my top racing games video for more suggestions. Link is down below. Number 8. Mindcell. Mindcell is one of the best third-person shooters on mobile that delivers a sci-fi story-driven single-player campaign with strong vibes of one of the most hyped games on console in recent years, Cyberpunk 2077. You escape from being a guinea pig for a science experiment and are searching for the truth, but the bad guys are hunting you down. The game does a great job mixing combat, chatting with NPCs, and small puzzles to advance. Combat-wise, it's a blend of heavy gunplay and absolutely vicious melee fights. And let me tell you, it's brutal and wonderful at the same time. Mindcell is optimized for mobile devices and plays well with or without a controller. Number 7. The Ramp. Fans of skateboarding games like myself, The Ramp is a must-play. The game boils the genre down to its basics, where creating lines with smooth transitions is the goal, along with pulling off some awesome tricks. As the name applies, you will be spending your time on ramps, and there are a few to choose from so things don't grow stale. Controllers are supported, and while the touch controls work fine, the precision of a controller can't be matched. The ramp is best played on larger screens with a controller in hands, but short sessions on your phone are manageable if you prefer portability. This is easily one of the best skateboarding games on Android and is totally free, so make sure you don't miss out. Number 6. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion isn't a tax evasion sim game. Instead, it's a Zelda-like game that Zelda fans will get a kick out of. The game will have you actively avoid paying your taxes by hunting down documents in dungeons just so you can tear them up. It's as ridiculous as it sounds, and the gameplay is great too. It follows the typical Zelda mechanics, exploring an overworld, diving into dungeons, solving puzzles, all with an outrageous yet amusing sense of humor on top. Turnip Boy is free to try and it takes around 2 hours to beat, which might make some question the price tag, but let me tell you, it's absolutely worth it. Number 5. Dead Cells. Dead Cells is one of the finest roguelike platformers released in the last few years, and the Android port is absolutely fantastic. You can choose from 30 FPS, 60 FPS and unlimited FPS in the game settings, and there's also an HD graphics option, which means no matter if you have a low-end or high-end device, the game should run great. Having spent plenty of time putting this game through its paces, it's clear that it runs like butter at max settings on high-end devices. Best of all, controller support is included, which is where this game shines, thanks to its precision controls. Number 4. Grim Valor. Grim Valor is an impressive hack-and-slash platformer offering some superb graphics, physical controller support, and you can even test out the title's gameplay without going out of pocket since the first act is totally free. The RPG mechanics add yet another layer to an already great game where everything just works so well together. The demo takes around 2 hours to complete, and you can then upgrade to the full game for a one-time purchase, which I think is one of the best values as far as Metroidvania games go. Grim Valor is a masterpiece that must be experienced. Number 3. Portal Knights. Portal Knights is an open-world action RPG with some sandbox elements, and it plays a lot like Minecraft and the Dragon Quest builder games. The game has all of the usual RPG stuff like level progression, a storyline, boss fights, and plenty of things to collect. Also, the game includes a creative mode where you can build your own island and the world is randomly generated. You can pick from 3 classes being Warrior, Ranger or Mage, and there is support for up to 4 players playing locally on the same Wi-Fi, as well as dual stick controllers. Portal Knights is one of the most underrated games on the Play Store in my opinion, and if you're a Minecraft and Roblox fan, try this. Number 2. Streets of Rage 4. Many, including myself, thought the Streets of Rage series was dead, but here we are with Streets of Rage 4, and it is absolutely excellent. It's probably the best beat 'em up released in many years, drawing back to the classics while featuring updated graphics fit for modern devices. The touch controls, if you're wondering, are pretty good, but of course the best way to play this is with a controller. The game is also priced reasonably, and the additional DLC costs $4 and adds an endless mode and a few extra characters. So if you're in the mood for a blast from the past vibe with a touch of modern gameplay, give this one a go. Number 1. Alien Isolation. Faro Interactive has a thing for developing some of the best ports on Android, and Alien Isolation is no exception. As a matter of fact, it's one of the finest. This is the full game, and it includes all 7 DLCs, along with controller support and cloud saves. The graphics are excellent, with several settings for a solid range of support across mid-rangers and high-end devices. So not only is this one of the best survival horror games ever made, it runs beautifully on Android, and since the mobile port is currently the cheapest version available, it's an easy recommendation if you haven't played it yet or wanna experience the DLC content on the go. And that sums up my picks for the top 18 best offline games with controller support. But now I wanna hear from you down in the comments. What's the best controller to play these games with? Of course, as always, if you enjoyed this video, clicking the like button does help me out a lot and I would really appreciate that. And if you're new, consider subscribing because I put out new videos like this every week. Also, special thanks to my YouTube members, and if you want to support my content and get some cool rewards, links are down in the description. You can also show some love to this video with a super thanks. Once again, I'm Ben, thank you AG Nation for watching, and I'll see you next time, right here on Android GameSpot. Stay epic!